there is a story of Elijah in the Bible. He was a servant of God, a prophet. What else do we know of him? Okay, other than the obvious. What is the notable miracle Elijah did?
What did he do?
You mean like he provided many foods. He made the bread and the.
No, Jesus.
When you think of Elijah, what do you think? What comes to mind?
I think of Elijah and
I don't really remember
the kids.
Who? Elijah did something that no one has done before. He called fire from heaven.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I know you still don't remember. And so, I'll give you a short story about Elijah. Pay attention. Elijah challenged the nation of Israel. And he told the nation of Israel, if God be God, let him be worshipped. If Baal is God, then let him be worshipped. But he wanted,
Elijah.
he wanted God to show himself, the true God, to reveal himself to the nation of Israel. And so he told the prophets of Baal, Baal is a false god that Israel was worshipping. So he told the prophets of Baal, if Baal is God, erect an altar, call God to send fire to consume their sacrifice on the altar. And so the whole day, the prophets of Baal, they built an altar and they sang around it. They danced around the altar. They even cut themselves, calling on their God to send fire. But Baal never answered.
And then Elijah was like,
And then Elijah built an altar of God, put water around the altar, erected stones or put stones around the altar, and then put a sacrifice. And then he called on God, the true living God, to show up. And God descended in form of a fire and consumed the entire sacrifice. And so Elijah is known for calling fire from heaven. And then after that, he ran away because he was being chased by, for those who remember the story, who was chasing Elijah? Queen begins with a J. Say it. Say it. Say what you just said. Jezebel. Don't be doubting yourself. And so when he was running away, he went and hid in a cave, and God appeared.
Wait, what? Appear?
To him.
Like
To Moses?
God fed Elijah.
And when?
What?
What?
Oh,
birds.
birds.
What form?
Birds came.
What form?
Like, did he appear as like something or like someone or like?
Ravens. Ravens
voice.
came to Elijah and gave him food.
The Bible does not say how God appeared. The Bible says God spoke to Elijah and asked Elijah, what are you doing here? And then Elijah said, Jezebel is chasing me, I'm afraid, and all that stuff. And then God fed Elijah food and gave him water to drink. And then he told Elijah, rest. And then he woke him up again, fed him more bread and water, and told him, rest, the journey is long ahead. But that's not where I was going with the story. Elsewhere, God appears to Elijah in a small, still voice. But before the still voice, there was an earthquake, Elijah was looking for God in the earthquake, but God was not in the earthquake. And then there was fire. Elijah was looking for God in the fire, but God was not in the fire. And then there was thunderstorm. It was thundering. And Elijah was looking for God in the thundering, but God was not there. And then there was a stillness. And then God whispered to Elijah. And so many people look for God in the big things. But God comes in a very small and humble way. And He speaks tenderly, kindly, and softly to you. Which means you must be able to silence all other noises and to hear God, because God is not going to scream at you. When God speaks to you, He's not going to yell at you the way some people do. I may yell at you, but God is never going to yell at you. I may scream at you, but God is never going to be screaming at you. He speaks to you in a soft and a tender manner that demands you to have learned to silence all other noise. Now there's a song that says, God, quiet all other noises that I may hear you. No, that's not how it works. You have to learn to silence all other noises that you can hear this small, still voice. That's why sometimes we do that exercise of learning to be still. And being still does not mean not making noise, audible noise. Being still means to silence everything, even up here, because there is too much noise sometimes that goes on in your head. How many people have ever been stressed here?
Stress.
Stressed. What is stress?
We have a lot going on.
You have a lot going on up here. Everything is screaming at you. Your grades are screaming at you. School is screaming at you. Friends are screaming at you up here. You're wondering whether they like your post or they don't. Fashion is screaming at you here because you're wondering, how do I keep up with fashion? Okay, those bottles. You see, I'm talking about stillness, and you are still making some funny noises. Bottles, pens. And so, to be still is to learn to quiet the noise, especially here. To quiet the noise here. Okay? To silence everything. Have you ever asked somebody, what are you thinking about? And they tell you nothing? And truly there is nothing they are thinking about? Or you are always thinking? Your brain is always working. You're figuring out what you're going to be doing this afternoon. Some of you are already figuring out what outfit they're going to wear to school tomorrow. Yeah, you're figuring out how you're going to do your laundry tonight.
My grades are not it right now. So I have to those 40 in the school.
I just have to put my clothes in the trash bag.
You see? Abby. That's noise. As much as you're not talking. What you're doing with that paper. It's consuming your mind. It's making a lot of noise in your mind. And it still is. And Tessie, that boy, and John, that paper, and Rahima. See? That's nice. I understand it's a challenge. It's a challenge because we are so much used to noise. Noise. And then when you see somebody talking to themselves, you think they're crazy. Forgetting that we are also crazy because we are talking too much up here. You're yapping constantly, yapping. Why are you bothering us?
Ah.
Claire, why are you bothering her? John. And that's why when you find that there's nothing to do, you always, because you're so much used to noise, you find something. You find, even if it's to watch your phone, you start opening TikTok or YouTube shorts and you're running through videos after videos because you need something screaming at you in here. And all those things, there's an English word called conglomeration. Conglomeration. It's a collection of all this junk that yell and yap in your head all the time, screaming and talking. And you're trying to keep up with the noise and you can't, and then you get stressed. And all that stress is because you're trying to make sense of that which does not make sense. Because your mind was designed to obey the instructions of God, not to figure things out. And so even as you learn, the ultimate pursuit of your learning is to obey the voice of God. The ultimate pursuit of learning, because I know you say that you go to school to learn. The ultimate pursuit of learning is not to figure things out, but to obey God.